This is the tomato planting corner. Aside from some pots, I'm gonna be using these old busted wooden stakes I've been using. In these beds, I'm gonna overcrowd them, but hey, it's how I roll. Cover these up in the winter time. Oh, that didn't last. Let's see what the reveal looks like. This also was plagued. This bed was plagued by grass and weeds taking it over. So this is my solution. Some tent stakes, Dollar Tree tarp. Too much light was getting through this, so I threw a bunch of leaves on it, covered it back up. And now it's been several months, so let's see how it looks. I hate all this. There's still grass in there. How is that even possible? That is insane. Well, I'm gonna see if I can clean this bed up. You can get some Reese's trash in here, and then we'll go from there. Even though it's a little early for tomatoes, they're going in the ground. So let's get this cleaned up and I'll be back. I have to say I'm pretty surprised. I raked all the grass, or not grass, the leaf pile and stuff off the top, and this is what I'm left with all this grass here. That's underneath the tarp and leaves. So it still grew grass under here. Shocking. I'm gonna see what damage I can do with this little tiller and with this stirrup hoe and see if I can improve this any before I get my tomatoes in here. I hope so. I guess we'll find out. Okay, here's what the bed looks like, I don't know, 20 minutes, 30 minutes later. I'm not sure how long it took me. But I ripped out most of the grass. How I did it was I stuck this thing in there and twisted it until the weeds broke. And I was able to pull them out. Once the soil was getting broke up, I could get in fact, I had no choice because this thing's ruined. I twisted it so much that, and the one time I'm using this thing, it just twisted the handle pretty much right off. So, as this thing was working, I like to get one that's more durable. I bought this one at like a thrift store for like $4, $5, something like that. It was working. I noticed the tines were starting to bend from the pressure of doing that. This garden soil tiller. Either way, this thing was working to snap the weeds off, but it couldn't handle the pressure. And it broke, so now it's junk. I got most of the bed done with that. And I came in here with this thing, and I was able to, push and pull under the soil once it was good and broke up, and with a little effort, chop a lot of these weeds up. They're still in there. So, pulled up some more, ripped up the corners by hand because I couldn't get a tool in there, and hopefully that killed the majority of the weeds and grass. Be an ongoing struggle. I'm gonna plant some tomatoes here. They like to vine up this fence behind me, and then this is the other one I'm planning on planting tomatoes in. So let's see if I can get some stakes in here, drop some tomatoes in, and give them a good water. All right, so get down here. So this is my way overgrown tomato starts. Some fertilizer, got my bone meal, and this little metal bed. So I'm gonna cram 8 tomatoes in this space. I've done it before with cherry tomatoes. Didn't have a problem. I didn't even prune them. It was just a big wall of tomatoes. Let's see, about where we're at, a little over a foot apart that way. About 15 inches or so that way. And that's probably about true. 14 inches for that one. So I kind of eyeballed it based on what I'd grown before. In here, just so I can fit 8 in this space. It's definitely crammed in here, but I can fit 8 in here. I'm gonna fit 9 in there. That was scrap wood, so this is about 4.5 feet by about 4.5 feet or so. So it's just scrap wood, so it's not exact measurements, but it's what it is. All right, so over here I do 4 Amish paste, and that's how I'm gonna do 4 yellow brandywines. I like yellow brandywines because so far it's my favorite flavored tomato. Amish paste I'm doing for a canning tomato. These are a bit root bound. I'll just tease the root ball a little bit. And they were kind of going over into each other's cups. So there's gonna be some culture shock for these guys, because I had to kind of pry them apart, and they don't like that. So let's get some planting holes dug for these guys. It's gonna go a couple inches away from that. Now with tomatoes, the stems, the side will roots, it'll grow roots all up here, so you can bury it as deep as you want. So I can bury it a little deeper than I actually had it in the pot. In fact, some people will cut all these bottom leaves off, and I've done that and bury it pretty deep, and it works pretty good too. Oh, which does remind me of one other thing I want to do. While I'm doing this, I want to put a little bone meal, a pinch of that. Blossom end rot is something tomatoes can get. Peppers can get it too, but not so much. I'm gonna put some over here too. Let's put that back in there. Mix that in the planting hole a little bit. It's usually a watering issue, but it could be from lack of calcium. Either they don't have enough water to absorb the calcium, or they just don't have enough calcium in the soil. So that's one reason for the bone meal. This one, go ahead and just tease it back up a little bit, because I forgot to add the fertilizer to the planting hole. So let's just put a little pinch in there. Put a little bit in there. Just mix that in. And go ahead and stuff that back down in there. Bury that up. Pat it down a little bit. Give it a little firmness. And as these grow, it's going to tie them to these stakes and prune them, because they are kind of close together. All right, so I can do the rest of these, and we'll come back and take a look. All right, here we are, all planted up with 8 tomatoes, and I'm gonna stake them eventually and see how it goes, but I'll water them in once I get some other stakes in, get some more planting. This one right here, actually, I think it was the runt, and basically what it was, I'm not sure what that one is. I don't think it's in this pile here. So anyways, I had an extra, I think it might be a mortgage lifter, I'm not sure. So it, 2 of them were growing in one cell. I pulled one of them out. It came up with a root, so I just threw it in a cell that didn't have a germination. Didn't even have a germination in it. There was no tomatoes to fill out the 20 pack, and I think it's 20. Yes, 20 cell tray. And so it was a little behind because it was competing with the other one, and so it was kind of small. And I think that was it right there. So we're gonna see how it goes. It's grown a lot since then, so hopefully it'll continue to do well. So I think that won't be an oddball in this bed. That's okay. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be good eating. Let's do the big reveal on this one. I'm gonna try and stick the extra ones I have left over in pots. Oh, I just broke a stick. I was probably gonna use it as a tomato stick. Let's take a look. Same kind of situation. Dollar Tree tarp. To kill off weeds and stuff. Although this one wasn't as bad. Had this one mulched a lot better, and it didn't have tomatoes in it, so it wasn't as weed filled as the other one. So we're gonna go with this and see what we got. Doesn't look too bad. Let's go ahead and rake these leaves off and see what's underneath. This is much more the way I was hoping the other one would be. I grew corn in here last year. There's a little bit of grass, but for the most part, it's pretty weed free. There's a little bit, which I'm about to hit with the stirrup hoe, and get me some stakes in here, and plant these other tomatoes. I'm gonna try and fit 9 here. So if I can do that, that will be most of my tomatoes planted. I still have a few odds and ends ones I'll stick in pots. So let's do that.